Our next guest is Bob Beatty Barr, who is here to represent the Batavia Music Buffs. So, Bob, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ellen.
So, I know a little bit about the Buffs, but you know a lot more. So tell us about what the Buffs are and do.
So, great point that you bring up the Buffs name several times. That's probably one of our largest hurdles, in my opinion. We are a music booster organization. So what we do is we help fill the gap between what the district can fund for all the music programs in Batavia schools and what they need. So unfortunately, there is a significant gap there. So what we do is, much like the athletic booster program and much like the performing arts booster program, we fundraise year-round to try to fill in those gaps for all of our different organizations.
So what are some of the programs that you support or you help support?
Great question. One of the big ones that most people will know of is the marching band, because they hit the field all the same times that the football team does, but they also perform throughout an entire season in the fall. Some of the lesser known groups, we also support the Winter Guard, which is an indoor performing group, and show choir. And we also support orchestras, and we support choirs at the elementary level, the middle school level. So any musical performing art from 5th grade on up.
So now for the high school aged people, I can see what the needs are for the costuming, for the travel, etc. For the elementary school and the middle schools, what are some of the programs that are supported? How is that support used? So
interestingly, most of the focus is on the older kids because they're outperforming in the community on a more steady basis. The elementary schools and the middle school right now, they're a challenge for us from a booster perspective, because not only do they get some of the lowest amount of funds from us as the booster organization, but they actually get some of the lowest amount of funds from the district level too. And in a community like ours that's growing with great education, great athletics, and great performing arts, the younger students are actually probably one of the most important areas to fund, because they're starting to introduce performing show choirs at the middle school and 5th grade levels. So every year at the elementary level, there's a district-wide musical that's put on where the in-classroom instructors will write the musical, collect the music, do the choreography, and they put that on for the community at the elementary level, and there's funding needs there. And so those groups come to us as a booster organization and say, we would actually need a little bit of extra funding to make this musical possible every year. At the middle school level, we have, I believe, 2 performing show choirs now. And I mean, the music program in general in Batavia schools is just growing leaps and bounds. Every year we're adding students at every level, it seems. So our need is growing and the groups are growing, so that puts a lot of pressure on us, the booster organization, as a 100% volunteer group.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's 100% parent volunteers. You'll always see us out in the community asking for money, but really the most important aspect of our organization is the volunteerism. Without that volunteerism, we really can't effectively raise funds. So even if you can't give money to help the programs, your time is probably even more valuable to us.
So you don't have to be a parent, though, correct, of a current student in order to be a booster?
To be a booster, no. We have community level. So we have, you can be a member of our booster organization as an alumni, as a parent, and just as a community member. And those are the community members of our organization are the most important, because that really lets us know that we're serving the community and that they're acknowledging that back to us. I mean, the kids really are the most important part, because a lot of these kids will stay in Batavia, and a handful of them will become the new educators, and the handful of them will, be involved in the community band and things like that. So music is such an important part of not only their education, but I believe as the community as well. So when we do get community members in our organization and community volunteers, it's just always a great thing.
So this is something that's available then for anybody in the community who has an interest in music or in education or in the students.
Yeah, so one of our largest challenges is communications. Because we are hyper-focused on the students and the educators and helping them bring all their dreams to reality, we oftentimes forget to reach out as often as we should. And one of the reasons why I'm here today is to start to get that word out a little more into the community, so they realize that there is a large community effort to give all the children in our community, whether it be sports, music, or the arts, the things that they need to be more successful in their endeavors.
Well, and I think that certainly we're a big football community, which is why the marching band gets a lot of visibility. But there are a lot of kids for whom athletics isn't their thing, and sometimes academics aren't their thing. And so this gives a place where people can be successful.
Yeah. One of the things I always talk about in marching band, because marching band has a camp that they start in the middle of the summer, and they're on the field 8 hours a day for 3 solid weeks, and then school starts. And it's a great opportunity for the young students that are coming into marching band for the first time. They get immersed into a community that carries into when the school year starts. So oftentimes they say the freshmen have 100 friends before they even hit the school doors that very first day. So yes, there's the music, there's the education, but there's also, that in-school community aspect of it too, where lifelong friendships are being forged. And it just like athletics, just like the arts. I mean, it's all part and parcel, and it's just part of community building. It's just so much more than the fundraising for music activities.
So how did you end up getting so involved in this?
I have 3 children. They're all involved in the music program in one way, shape, or form. My oldest is at Elmhurst, becoming he's a music education major, and his dream is to come back to Batavia and teach music. I don't know how that's going to work out with our young music directors currently there, but it's a goal to set anyway.
Absolutely.
And in addition, I'm actually a huge Batavia football fan and was exposed to the marching band long before any of my children were in it. And it just kind of seemed to go hand in hand for me from a community aspect. And I found myself volunteering at marching band activities and football activities. And then all of a sudden I was kind of gravitated toward the music volunteerism aspect of it. And now I'm just finished my first term on the board, and then I'm starting my second term as their communications director starting in August.
Wonderful. So if people want to communicate with you as the communications director or as a board member, how do they get in touch with you to learn more, or to say, I want to volunteer, or to give time or money or insight, whatever they might want to give? How do they get in touch with you?
So our main communication vehicle is our website. It's bataviamusicbuffs.org.
Okay.
And from that homepage, you can one-click to become a volunteer, you can one-click to become a member, and there's a link to the calendar that has all the music events throughout the calendar year. And that's really our one-stop shop for communications right now. We try to get out in the community with the farmers market. We try to make appearances there. You'll see us throughout the community all the time because we're always fundraising. And part of that fundraising effort for us is to build volunteerism at the same time.
So if they see any of you in passing, to grab you, stop you, and say, I want to help, I want to volunteer, I want to donate, right?
Yes. So we're a 7-member board, so there's not tons of us that are out in the community. But take an opportunity to take in a music activity at the BFAC. Anytime you're going to see us out having a booth table to, sell memberships, provide information to the community. One of the big things we have coming up is our mattress sale, which is a very bizarre fundraiser, but it's bizarrely effective. And it's another one of those things where it brings people in from all over the community for a very interesting way to help support music in Batavia.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Bob. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ellen. It's great.
Great. And now we'll take a brief time out to hear from some of our sponsors. We will be right back.